Hey, guys, it's Sunday, and welcome to the Snark Lounge. I'm Jimmy. I'll be your host tonight. We got some great guests tonight. I want to apologize last week. Yeah, no Snark Lounge. I actually went out on location with one of my guests and Caliber Wings. You guys remember Caliber Wings? He was on this program a few weeks back, 3-4 weeks back, and we went to try to explore some things. And we'll talk about more what we end up doing, what we didn't do, and at least a video may or may not come about that. But tonight, we're talking about sugar mamas and sugar daddies. Absolutely. So I want to go ahead and invite some of my guests in. But first, I want to explain, for those of you who don't know what a sugar mama is. Yes, that's right. This is a wealthy woman who gives money or gifts to a younger dude in exchange for, well, companionship and maybe more. So let's go ahead and invite some of our guests in, and we'll see where this goes. First of all, you know him, you love him, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Walkabout Rojo.
Hi, good to be back on the Snark Lounge, man.
It's good, and you, again, my Jimmy. Friend, are looking pretty fly in a new studio there.
Yeah, my new studio. Yeah, I moved in here at the beginning of the month, and still playing with the lights. It's a little dark in here right now, but the lights are coming back. New cameras, new computers, new everything. So totally stoked on this. Yeah, it was needed. It definitely was needed. If you follow my channel, you know that working at the university campus when everyone's playing their video games at night, it's impossible. You can't do it, you know. Plus all the construction going on.
I know every time I try to tune into your show, it's like, oh, part 1 didn't work, but part 2 didn't work. Part 3, okay, that's it. I'm done.
It got so frustrating. And here I'm in a brand new building in the center of my town, Zhongshan, and the internet is blazing fast, and it's a wonderful welcome. It's like, it's great. I can.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, the captain of our show tonight, it's Captain Burbex. So
welcome aboard the HMS SnarkyGuy.
Looks like Agent Burbex tonight.
Exits are located on the left and on the right. In the event of an emergency, pull the life jacket over your head, pull the strings, and blow the whistle.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So Bunny is back in Hong Kong tonight, and she says she will be joining us in just a few minutes.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to her after a hiatus from the Snark Lounge. But when Burbex initially suggested this subject, Chinese shirt mamas, it was like, I don't know. That's kind of like, you know, wearing glasses without lenses in them, you know? I mean, it's right? So actually I have the lenses for these. They came out. I was going to try to make an interesting commercial kind of video out of it, and I just haven't done it yet. So in the meantime, it does complete the ensemble. So there we have it. So, Caliber Wings is already, you know, hey. So Burbex, would you like to tell everyone what Caliber Wings and you and I were up to last weekend?
You want me to say that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So last week, well, as you know, Caliber Wings, he makes like these awesome scale models of planes. I talk about them every time we come on the Snark Lounge, so you probably know about them already. And on my channel, I've been out looking for a lot of military stuff recently. So Jimmy and I have been out to find Soviet MiG fighters before, abandoned ones. And we went to a university in Shanghai where they have there's a MiG fighter on that university campus, an abandoned one. And they have a tradition that when the male students graduate from that university, they go up and they smack that plane. You know, like they go up and they hit it, because in Chinese, 打飞机 or hit the plane means to pleasure oneself, let's say. If they hit the plane, they will have a successful career in the future. So we went to try and find that plane, but actually that expedition was a bit of a disaster because they wouldn't let us onto the university campus. Snarky looked too much like a terrorist, and they said I was too handsome or something.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they said.
They were afraid that it would be like a stampede of college girls chasing after me because
Hey, Chung Hao Shuai. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what we got up to last week. But we did get to hang out, and we made just like this random video outside Blue Frog. Blue Frog is a bar, and it's just the three of us talking shit for an hour and a half. But it's entertaining shit. I hope that
camera angles too. So
sorry, say that again.
Multiple caliber. Camera angles, not the caliber angles. So There we go. Calvin's like, fake news. Fake news. So, China Teacher Brand's in the house. He's asking, what is a sugar mama? So I'm gonna put that back up here. So it is a wealthy woman who gives money to a younger man in return for fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. So could mean anything. So we're gonna talk about that tonight. And while we're waiting for Bunny to catch up with us, she said she's gonna be about 5 minutes, but we'll see if she's coming. So I want to open up this floor because I know Paul said he had some stories for us.
Well, I'm not sure I could. First of all, I want to say, Burbex, I'm a huge fan of your channel, dude. I got to give you a prop. Urban exploration is something that I loved to do back in the day, back in Los Angeles, man. So I give it up to you, man. So, yes, hey, Bunny. Welcome, Bunny.
I cannot hear you guys. I don't know why. Can you hear
us?
me?
We can hear you, dear.
Yeah, I can hear you good. So and she's gone.
Wow, she got okay.
Yep. And then she's been on the show officially. She's gone. So
okay. Well, going back to the topic is the sugar mamas. Everyone knows about the sugar daddy, right? They see a lot of them around right there, and we can talk forever about that. Actually, they're in this building actually where I see it. But in sugar mamas. I don't have very much experience other than when I taught at a training center. A lot of the women would come and take English classes, and they would flirt with me a little bit, and they would always offer me certain extra goodies, I guess you could say. I had to say no. I had to say no a lot, which is hard to do.
What kind of goodies were they offering you?
Were there two of them?
Sushi bars.
Oh, sushi bars.
Nice. So,
but it was a lot of fun. Now I know it's a thing. In fact, I think on your channel you might have had this dude. I don't remember his name. I think he's an Aussie. He's friends with Straya, and he's like living the high life in Chengdu. You know that guy I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
so apparently,
apparently
he's got a harem. Yeah, apparently he's got a harem of sugar mamas that meet like once a week, and he's always trying to fan them out to everybody. You know, saying, "Hey guys, these girls, they got money. They're looking for guys and stuff." So I think we should have got him on today's show. We're going to talk about sugar mamas.
I actually invited him on, and he said that it doesn't work that way. That it's just a cooperation and a mentorship, which kind of sounds.
I love euphemistic language.
Yes, definitely. So,
Bunny, turn your mic on, Bunny. There you go.
Yes, sir, mic on. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I know it's actually the Chrome who blocked the voice. I don't know why.
Well, we all know, Bunny, that you are.
Because...
Are you Jimmy's sugar mama?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, I'm his sugar mama, but he's my bitch. Okay.
What? You bitch?
That's the line. That's the line of the night right there.
I'm someone's bitch.
I'm not his sugar mama, but he's my bitch.
Oh, does he wear a gimp suit? Do you put him in like a big black gimp suit, big leather suit?
No, there's no nothing to fit him besides.
So just naked then.
No.
Yeah.
So suddenly it all makes sense why I have to be tied up and put in a giant diaper. It all makes sense.
No, don't put yourself in a diapers. It's just save the money, please. Diapers, no.
So, Paul, you were.
Sorry?
What are we talking
Bunny
about?
is back, and with a vengeance. So,
yeah.
Oh, Calibert has a nice little comment here. When I was 16 years old, I met a 20-plus-year-old woman at a hobby store and made a Porsche model for her on commission. She brought me out to lunch in a fancy restaurant, and that's my closest experience.
Oh, sorry, Calibert.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Well, you know, it was actually me. Jimmy asked me this week, well, what could we make? What topic could we talk about? And then, you know, after our conversation when we went out last Sunday, I started thinking about this idea of like sugar mamas in China because, for example, I used to live in Shenzhen, right? And I'd be walking through the streets of Shenzhen, and Shenzhen actually has a ratio of about 5.5 women to one man. So it's
it's
Right?
uncanny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shenzhen's female population is huge, and
If you're single, go to Shenzhen, man. Definitely.
yeah, exactly. And so often you would walk through Shenzhen or whatever, and you would, see, I don't know, the typical big, old Western dude with quite beautiful young women, and you get the idea that it's like a sugar daddy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you like look at that relationship, and maybe when I was a bit younger, I'd kind of get a little bit disgusted by that. I would think like these girls are kind of selling themselves, and like there's the sugar daddy, and he's just like taking advantage of the fact that he's rich, he's from a Western country. But then I started thinking as well, a lot of these Chinese girls are probably getting a lot of benefits from being with that man as well. Maybe they get more access to money than they have before. Maybe they get a passport to go to other countries, like American passports, Australian passports. And, I think when people think about relationships like this, like the sugar relationship, let's call it, they tend to think of, like the Western sugar daddy and the Chinese, what would you call that girl? The Chinese, let's just say the Chinese girl.
Yeah.
But there is kind of an opposite to that. And I think that this doesn't get discussed as much. And it's that in China, you get Chinese sugar mamas with younger Western men. I'm not going to say super young, but some of them could be super young. So in one of my previous jobs, I used to work for part of British Council. I can't talk much about that though. And in that job, there was a very young guy called Matthew from Manchester in England. And he was like, I don't know, 25, 26. And his sugar mama was like 40 years old. She was married as well, probably not very fulfilled in her.
Wait, she was married already and still was. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. So like, it was basically her toy boy, right?
Oh,
a toy boy. We should explain.
Toy.
her weekend rental.
Yeah.
In Chinese, right? There's even a phrase for like toy boy, which is 小白脸, which literally means little white face. And if you're a Western boy like that, you really are a 小白脸. You really are a little white face. And she actually bought him an apartment where he lived, and I don't think she bought it for him, but she rented a Lamborghini for him, which eventually he crashed. But then all of this kind of unraveled because the woman's husband, who was obviously quite rich and quite powerful, found out, and as a result, he had to leave the country quite quickly. And that was kind of my first, inkling. That was my first idea that maybe in China there is this situation where you have like a Chinese sugar mama and a Western toy boy, right? And I'm not going to lie, it's been offered to me before, right? Yeah.
So what does your girlfriend think of this?
It's not been offered to me for a long time. I'm 40 years old now. This is when I was, like 10 years ago. And I was in Beijing and I had a student called Lisa. And she was a one-to-one student, not one-to-one in that sense. Although she would have liked it to have been. And so an agency, not that kind of agency, an agency sent me out to teach this woman who was like 40 years old. I was about 30 years old at the time. And lots of teachers had gone to try and teach this woman before, always male teachers, and they'd all given up because they just couldn't hack it, right? Because this woman was obsessed with talking about sex, obsessed with it, and like I'm not prudish, so when she wanted to talk about sex, I would just talk about sex. You know, like she would read about like sexual perversions and stuff on the internet, and I'd read up about it, and we discussed these things, and then, you know, she'd drive.
Part of English education.
Yeah, exactly. So she'd drive me around in her Porsche Carrera. We'd be driving around in that, and like one night she propositioned me afterwards. I'm like, no, sorry, that's not really my thing. You know, like I've got some integrity. Let's say.
How did she proposition you?
Well, she just like stopped the car. You know, like she just stopped the car in a place in Beijing, and she just asked straight out, "Shall we go to like a hotel?" And I'm like,
"Oh, okay." I thought you were saying she's offering to do it in the car. I'm like, you realize a Porsche?
Porsche is quite comfortable.
Like, too small inside.
I bet that's what you say to all the girls, Snarky.
But bam!
I don't know what that means. But then, she actually said something to me, right? And she said, "A young, handsome man like you, I have many friends that would want to sleep with you." And what she meant is, I have many friends who would want to sleep with you and pay you. And she said, there are lots of parties that I could take you to. I could introduce you to women, and you could make money doing that.
Whoa. Now that's kind of going beyond sugar. I think that she's trying to turn you into her own little escort, man.
Turn into a rent boy.
Burbex for rent. So
yeah. So but nothing.
For a $500 super chat, we will rent Burbex out for the night.
Just 500? Fuck you, dude.
Well, I you know, we'll have a price list of, you know. I think I just demonetized myself here.
But that is a thing on Taobao, right? Don't they rent out boyfriends at Spring Festival?
They do.
Oh,
yeah. So what is the going price for a boyfriend on Taobao at Spring Festival? I mean, I know you get more money if you're taller, and you charge more for like a holding hands or going to a movie with the family, or even like a good night kiss. So there's got to be a price list out there somewhere that we can work off of, right?
But the other funny thing about it is that these women, they're in these social circles which most foreigners and indeed most Chinese people will never get access to. You know, like they're like in a whole different level of society. And Lisa, who was my student, she would tell me about how she was sleeping with her Korean tennis coach, and you know, like she would learn tennis from this guy, and then she would like go and sleep with the guy and I assume that the Korean was another younger toy boy, and just because she had enough money, she could do what she wanted to, because I got the sense that she wasn't really fulfilled in her relationship with her husband, and she had 2 kids as well. So I don't know, but that was kind of step 1 of my chain of thought about this, is because I think last time I was on the show, I made some comments about another channel, and I said, don't watch that channel because I think that channel is boring.
Yep.
That's my personal opinion, right?
Yep.
If I come on this show and I you know, this is nothing to do with Snarky, you know, like I come on here and I give my opinions, free speech, right? So then later I found out that the person who wanted me to remove those comments, I found out some extra information about that, and that's like about how maybe he's kind of maybe a toy boy too. So
this you got to wonder how often that happens, you know?
A lot. I think it happens a lot.
You guys, I used to be a hotel manager, man. This is a very, very common thing. Afternoon delights are a real thing in big hotels.
Motel.
Yeah.
Well, hotel managers, we have a lot of secrets.
I bet.
Caliber is saying that they're called ducks. That's interesting because the ducks are gigolos. A duck is like a man who'll sell himself, and a chicken is who will sell himself.
Oh, yeah. But Bunny was telling me about that before. How does that go, Bunny?
Sorry?
How does that go with the ducks and the chickens?
The chicken is actually for the ladies prostitute, and the duck is to the man prostitute.
Yeah.
So basically, Oh, that's you know, it's most likely that like it happens on a dancing group, the KTV, those kind of like most likely you have to have a cool body, like very attractive body, and then yeah, you will be like gathered by the ladies and then put the money on it. But this is what I haven't experienced that. I only watch it through the TV. Okay.
Right.
Well, I remember you were saying something about ordering food and how you can be.
Oh yeah. So in Cantonese, when you say actually, I wanted to order the prostitute service, you will say order the chicken or order the duck. Yeah, that is how when you say order the duck and order the chicken, that is what it means.
Can you get ducks and chicken on Erlama?
It depends on what kind of duck and chicken, right? But I just Taobao. I find out I just Taobao like the rental boyfriend, and then it doesn't work. No research.
Wow.
No returns.
But
yeah.
It always causes trouble because when you say, oh, I'm going to Qingyuan for the weekend, or and you say, what are you going there? Oh, don't forget to eat the chicken, and then everyone gets a nice little laugh out of it.
Nice. So, Paul, you were saying about the hotel.
I worked in very high-end hotels, but one of the hotels I worked at was on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood. And it was a very small boutique hotel, but it was frequented by prominent media folks, I guess you could say. And these are very powerful women. They're very powerful men that do it too, obviously. But they were very powerful women who the young boy, who was probably a PA or something, would check in. And then the powerful woman, most of them are producers, would come, and an hour later she would leave. And then and these guys were, they were very young. They were 18, 19, 20 years old.
What about the women? How old were
the women? The women are middle-aged. They're in their 40s and 50s. Yeah. But it's also, let's go back to because I think there's an interesting phenomenon happening here in China that is so new. You know about the huge generation gap that happens here, and it's from one generation to another. It's completely different. It went from very traditional. It's becoming a lot more modern here in China. So a lot of the women, especially here in Guangdong, I haven't been to the north, but I assume it's the same thing. Shanghai probably too. Is women are marrying later in life. They're being educated. They're starting businesses. They're being career people, and they're kind of shunning the traditional path of marriage and children at a young age and having a man take care of them. But then you have that factor of the leftover women, right? So once they turn 27, 28, they had this thing where they're no longer wanted for marriage material. So you have a lot of women in their 30s that are incredibly beautiful, really, really smart, and very, very successful. And they're kind of shunned in the dating world. So I guess they kind of, take this route instead.
Yeah. So, Bunny, for those of the people who don't know, what is a leftover woman?
Chinese is saying no. That means actually like they don't have boyfriend, and then they figure out that at that age or that body shape or whatever, that it's not a good condition for competing with other younger ladies. So it's more like a leftover. That is that which implies that they have less opportunities to have boyfriend or even to get married. Yeah. Less competitive in terms of the age, the beauty, the body shape, these kind of things. But most likely it's focusing on all the appearance stuff. It's not really the inside elements, like personality or something. Yeah.
So there we go. I kind of wanted to lead this into another idea of sugar mamas, though, because right now we've been talking about like maybe older, maybe middle-aged women with like younger Western men. But I think there's also kind of a phenomenon that we see in China as well, which is there'll be these women could be any these women could be any age, but usually they tend to be richer women, and then they will find a Western boyfriend or even a Western husband who's maybe not as rich, or maybe even poor, and they marry them just to get there's a whole bunch of different reasons that they do it. I think maybe one is to like get prestige, for example. The most obvious one is like to get passports for them, and then Serpentenza talks about anchor babies. You know, like if you watch Serpentenza's videos, he talks about anchor babies, for example. They might have a Western boyfriend, a Western husband, so that they can have a baby in another country. You know, like they'll be able to get their baby an American passport, for example. And the other thing about it is that because these people come from rich families, they often want to get their money out of China.
Yeah.
So, you know, like they use that Western man as an opportunity to get for capital flight, that's the phrase, isn't it? To get their cash out of China. And, you know, it's not exactly a loving relationship, is it? I mean, like if you're married and, well, I hope everyone here has love in their marriage if they're married, but it's kind of
doing the heart very well.
Sorry, I'm a little bit naive today. I didn't drink any booze. Normally, I have a drink for this. I'm just drinking.
Cheers! Cheers!
You
You get this. I come prepared, brother.
Tea.
Yeah.
I have tea.
The thing is, though, that some YouTubers, and this is okay. I'm going to get a little bit controversial right now.
All right, here we go.
I think that some YouTubers, and I'm not going to name names, but they know who they are. Some very famous YouTubers who often say that they represent China, and these are larger YouTubers, not small YouTube channels like me. They often come on and they show like this lifestyle. They show a certain lifestyle, you know, like they'll be with their Chinese wife, they'll be with Chinese kids, and they make everything look kind of rosy. They make everything look beautiful. They say, look how rich I am. Look how beautiful my wife is. And, you know, like these sugar mamas can often be beautiful. Look at my beautiful children. And then as soon as you turn off the camera, all of that just dissolves because they all hate each other. You know, like, and
it's social media, dude. That's the common
that's true. Well, it's that a lot of these Western men are in relationships with these women just for the money and just for the opportunities that it provides, which means that they have tons of free time so that they can make YouTube videos or do whatever the hell they want to. I know that Snarky and Rojo and myself, we all work 100%. Well, I know Snarky you work a lot, right?
Dude, I work 6 days a week. I have my regular job and I have my side hustle on Saturday with kids that literally bite and kick.
Yeah. So it sets us at a disadvantage. If we all had sugar mamas taking care of us, we potentially could have hundreds of thousands of subscribers as well. We don't have
why can't I want to be a house husband, man? Why can't I? Seriously, you know, that's a term that is no one understands here. Is I'll be a house husband, sure. You know,
there you go.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No.
Snarky also want to be a house husband as well.
Yes, I want to be a house husband.
Just take care of the cat and.
I thought he was the gimp. I thought he was like your sex slave or something.
He's the bitch, right?
He's the bitch. I am. So actually, I was discussing this story just the other day with Bunny, and so I hope she doesn't mind me telling this story. It's not about her though. So when I was living, I grew up, when I was living in Hong Kong, and I met a girl named Megan in Hong Kong about a year before I graduated. She's kind of a nice girl, but she was kind of dressed very differently. Like she'd wear these knee-high boots before they were popular, and this rough, kind of furry fringe braid that I can only assume was made out of a goat. I mean, I don't know if she was actually raising and sacrificing goats. I hope not. But anyway, she was kind of different. So I met this girl in an old VHS shop called KPS. Do you remember KPS, Bunny? She's gone.
I think the technical kerfuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Are we having the internet kerfuffle again?
I think so.
So, she's back.
Hi.
She's back.
About VHS.
I clicked the wrong button.
Yeah, there was this old shop called KPS. Do you remember that, Bunny?
KPS.
The shop called KPS that showed the videos.
Wow. Are you sure I was born at that time?
It was in the late 90s. Yes.
Hey, geez, I was just young. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so I met her in this VHS shop called KPS, which was basically a Hong Kong equivalent to Blockbuster Video. And she walked right up to me and commented on my buying a copy of a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie and said it was, it's so cool. You so man. First time I heard that expression. You so man. And so we spent the afternoon just kind of talking about crappy kung fu movies. And, about the early evening, she asked me if I'd ever kissed a Chinese girl. And, of course, I lied to her and told her I hadn't. And so, we kissed for a little bit. And after that, she told me she was gay.
Oh.
And just wondered what it was like to kiss a foreign guy. And so I, happy to be of service. I didn't see Megan for almost 2 months. And then she called me out of the blue and asked me if I would come to her parents' reunion dinner in Yamate. But Bunny, for those who don't know, what is a reunion dinner? Can you hear me, Bunny? Yep. She can't hear us.
We got an internet issue with this.
Yep. So, she's gone again. All right. A reunion. Yes.
I like the story.
Can't be a Snark Lounge without a kerfuffle. That's so true.
That's true.
So true.
Yeah.
Now she's back again. Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
International
what is a reunion dinner for those people who don't know?
reunion dinner is actually it's a family dinner. We had it in the Chinese New Year Eve. It's the whole entire family. Chinese New Year Eve, the night before the Chinese New Year. So entire family will sit together. So all the dishes on the table, we have a very good meaning. Just mean, okay, this is celebrate the end of the year, that we have a fruitful year, and then welcome to the next year.
There we go.
Yeah.
So she invited me to her to reunion with her parents. She wanted to convince her parents she had a nice foreign boyfriend, and she offered to pay me for the date and said if it went well, she would pay me for my time for future endeavors.
How much did she pay?
She offered me 500 Hong Kong dollars for the evening.
It was
That was a lot of the time, though, right?
Back in the late 90s, yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
But it never happened. I literally never heard from her again. She never called me. And when I called her number, some guy said it was the wrong number. So I never got paid.
That's sad. But you got a free kiss, right?
I did. I did get a kiss. She was curious what it was like to kiss a foreign guy.
And you got to watch a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie too.
I did.
Winning.
Yep, double impact. So possibly the best Van Damme out there.
Double impact. That's Snarky's kisses. Mm-hmm.
Double impact is when Bunny beats me later.
You get a kiss and a punch at the same time.
True story.
Yeah.
True story. So, but was it? He's like, "Is this the one you did the runner from?" No, that was a different one. So,
Bo and Lee asked what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a kind of tea called Da Hong Pa, which means like big red cannon. It's very good tea. It might be better with some booze in it, but it's pretty good. I like this tea a lot. Comes from the country.
What is all over your glass there? Did you mark it with a marker?
What? No, that's just the tea leaves.
Oh, okay. It looked like you marked it up with a marker there. I was trying to figure that out. So there he goes. He's like, I wonder what it's like to kiss a foreign guy too.
I offered Snarky to kiss you so that you can know how to.
Yeah, there we go. So for only a $500 super chat.
I like you were saying though about this gay lady that was talking to you, Megan.
Yep.
I wonder if there's like a phenomenon in China where there's actually rich sugar daddies who are picking up young men as well. You know, like rich Chinese sugar daddies picking up young Western men. I wonder if that's because I have
Actually,
a few people, and they talk about actually how difficult it is to find partners. Shanghai's quite a gay city, I think.
Actually, I was just discussing this, and I don't want to give any names away or say where I know this person, but a friend of mine who is he's gay. He says it's a problem in Shanghai, particularly because there's people are very close, and a lot of boys they'll hold hands when they're walking, arms around, and everything else because they're just very close. You see that all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times when he will go out with someone, they don't realize it's a date until the end of the evening. They just think that it's just two guys going to hang out. And so
yeah, but when it's saying
like highly controversial gay sugar daddies.
Gay sugar daddies, yeah.
There you go. So apparently it happens in Chongqing all the time.
Well, Chongqing's a very accepting city, isn't it? Apparently
Yeah,
they're very tolerant of people there, and the men there tend to be more beautiful than they are in other parts of China. So I've heard. So
does a tea taste like a cannon hit your mouth? He said.
Yeah, it shoots you in the mouth.
So
no comment. Sorry.
Wow, that right on the tail of the previous comment.
Yeah, great imagery.
Not a good juxtaposition there, is it? Ew.
Oh, expat survival's here as well.
Hey, there we go. So when a Chinese girl offers to introduce you to her family, especially during Chinese New Year, she usually means business, thinking of that wedding date.
Yeah,
so,
I think he's been caught already. He's fallen into that trap.
There we go.
If you have any questions about finances and stuff, like bank transfers or
he's your guy.
Your Alipay account, things like that, check out Expat Survival's channel. I was actually looking up. I typed into Google the other day how to apply for a Chinese credit card, and Expat Survival's channel came up, and I've seen his channel before. Makes really good videos, very, very detailed.
Michael is one of the smartest guys I've met in China. I had dinner with him a couple of weeks ago in Guangzhou. Him and his family. We went out for Mexican food. So hey, Mike, thanks for the Mexican food, dude. But the dude works harder than anybody, and you're right. He breaks down the how-to of China better than anybody. So another shout out to
Mexican
Michael.
Food with you too. When Expat Survival was in Shanghai, we also went out for Mexican food.
But Snarky, you only
but the Mexican, it was my idea, because I said I was going to Banditos, and he's like, "Hey, can I come?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
And also, Young Guaidza says there's a gay bar in Dalian with ladyboys from Thailand. Now, I guess we're getting off topic a little bit now.
Oh, just a bit.
I used to have to travel around for my job a lot, and one of the cities I'd have to travel to was Changchun. I might have told the story before, I'm not sure. So they would put us up in the Shangri-La Hotel in Changchun, and as soon as I would get into the hotel, WeChat would start buzzing, because there's a function on here, people around you.
Yeah.
And then, people around you would start just buzzing, and then this image of quite a sexy lady pops up. So I take a look at it, and we're chatting and stuff, and she's propositioning me. At first I thought she was a prostitute or something, but I kept chatting, and then she says I have a jiba, and a jiba is basically a penis, right? And so I started talking to her, I'm not interested in that, but I started talking to her about it, and she said that actually there's quite a lot of transsexuals or transvestites in Changchun, and they would gather around what's it called? Central Square, Remin Guangtang, People's Square in Changchun, which is quite close to the Shangri-La Hotel. And the funny thing is that square actually has a statue of an aeroplane in the middle of it. So again, Da Feiji. I don't know. But and actually when I went back the next time, almost exactly the same thing happened. Changchun is kind of a strange city. I think in Dongbei, they have a stronger culture of ladyboys, maybe, of cross-dressers as well. You see some strange people in Changchun, and they tend to congregate around that area of town.
Yeah.
Even though Chinese people will often say, "Oh, there's no gay people," what was he called? Wen Jiabao. Wen Jiabao was the prime minister of China, under Hu Jintao, the last chairman.
Yeah.
And Wen Jiabao famously went to Cambridge University to give a speech. This must have been 10 or 15 years ago. And in this speech, he's basically said, there are no gay people in China, which made everybody in the audience just piss themselves laughing. And he brought the house down when he said that. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Gay sugar debt. This is a very stream of consciousness stream tonight, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Mm.
I kind of started that with my story of the curious gay. There we go. Xbox, so flattering. So anyway, so he's like, I remember his famous words. There we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we get off topic a little bit, but we're talking about people that have experienced that. I actually had and Bunny actually knows this guy, but I'm not going to mention him by name. A former work colleague of mine, he met a girl in South Korea when he was teaching there, and she would expect him once a week on Saturday evening, and she had a fridge full of beer, homemade food, and all the side benefits he could muster up from 4 to 8 p.m.
Wow.
From 4 to 8 p.m. She'd even give him taxi fare, and then she'd burn him some music on a little CD and send him home with some music burned on a CD every week.
That's so sweet.
It is sweet. And of course, he kind of assumed, because it was only from 4 to 8 p.m., like at 8 p.m., she would encourage him to immediately leave. And so he kind of assumed that she was cheating on her boyfriend or husband, and and he's like, okay, whatever, as long as I don't get caught. But over time, like as over a year, he kind of developed feelings for her. And so he eventually worked up the nerve to go to her apartment on a weekday and kind of confront her. And it turns out she was living with her mom and grandma, who were not approving of this. And I guess every week they go out and gamble with other ladies on Saturday evening. And that's when she'd invite him in. But she wouldn't call him the rest of the week at all. And when he confronted her, she pretended he was crazy and asked him to leave. And at that point, he broke it off and he moved to Shanghai.
Well, sorry, was that guy a Westerner or was that guy a Chinese guy?
Yeah, he's a Westerner.
Well, in that sense, there's kind of two elements of it. The first element of that story is that, she's cheating on her husband or her boyfriend or whoever.
Yeah.
The second part, which might be more shocking for most people, would be cheating on your Chinese husband or boyfriend with a Westerner. Because there are certain people in China, well, apparently, and this is something I've heard a lot of the time, is that if a Chinese woman as a girlfriend or as a wife is with a Western man, and then they split up or they get divorced, Chinese men will not touch that woman again. It's like there's a stigma behind it, like a taboo against taking those women. And so women will often lie about that because for some reason, it kind of makes Chinese men insecure.
Well, why would that make them feel insecure, I wonder?
Well, that's the white elephant in the room. We're not going to talk about that in here. But apart from physical elements, I mean, there are a lot of other emotional things about that. So Bunny earlier was talking about leftover women. If there's so many of these leftover women, and some of these have dated Western guys, and then they become super leftover women, and it's only
super
old Western dudes that can pick them up. So oh my god, what am I talking about now? Sorry.
Paul, get in here and save us.
I don't know what to do, man. I don't know where to go with that. Okay, I can change the subject.
Yes,
all right.
Yes, but lead us away.
Let's talk about a phenomenon that I've seen here in southern China and many of the places I've lived. So my old apartment here a few years ago was a large garden, and the building I was in had a lot of these studio apartments, and I rented one of these studio apartments. And there were lots of them. There were 100 of them. little tiny ones. And it was not a rich building, you know, it was nice, but it was affordable. And so there were a lot of young professionals in there, mostly women and mostly young women. And, you know, you see them in the elevator. You know, I lived on top floor. So going down, everyone would get in the elevator and go to work in the morning. Well, in the morning, there were an awful lot of these middle-aged men in suits. Then I am going off to their BMWs and their Mercedes in the parking lot. And I'm thinking, you don't live here. And I know you're not raising your children. You don't have your wife in this building. And it was very common. You know, every morning you'd see a couple of these middle-aged guys visiting their lady friends. And then at night, you would see these beautiful young women dressed to the nines, man. They were just gorgeous, walking to their car or waiting to be picked up by somebody. It was common. And that's just one building. That happens in the building I'm in now. It happens in many of these buildings that have these studio apartments for young people. It's mostly young ladies.
But I think the issue here is that even though in China they talk about prostitution and, you know, like they're trying to cut down on that in terms of like,
I don't think it's prostitution. I think it's mistress.
It's like second wife.
It's that phenomenon.
It's a very strong part of Chinese society, I think. Is that, and it's not. It's kind of in a gray area because it's not exactly prostitution in the sense that, you know, like selling yourself. You're like got this relationship with this person. It's more like having a mistress. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really common. A lot of Hong Kong guys will have a family in Hong Kong, and they'll have like another apartment in Shenzhen or Zhuhai with their second wife.
And they'll set that family up. They'll set that person up with like a whole apartment.
But these women, they don't just have one man; they have a few men. You know, they have a few boyfriends. You know, that are selling, giving them stuff. You know, it's not just usually one man. No.
So
we just saw the word xiaosan, and xiaosan is like your mistress in Chinese.
Yeah,
literally means little three. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the prostitution thing, I was watching Jim Jeffries. He had a great thing on this. He said,
Jim Jeffries is great.
Yeah, he's amazing, right? So he talked about, in America, prostitution is illegal, just like it is in China, unless you film it.
What?
He's right. If I come from LA, dude, it's you know, that's the heart of pornography, right? If you film it and say, I'm going to put this on the internet, then it's no longer prostitution. It's art.
Awesome.
Well,
I'm not kidding. That's
but in China, that's still illegal, dude.
In China
it is, but
I want to see like the SnarkyGuy bitch tapes. I think that's high art.
You know, make a T-shirt. You know, I'm Snarky. Yeah, there you go. So Bunny was actually telling me a story though about something she heard in the Didi. What was that, Bunny?
It was like I heard it from a Didi driver. So he mentioned that he used to work for a company, and the boss was a boss got a sugar lady. Is it called sugar lady? Sugar mama. The boss wife is from a super rich family. But the boy is actually not just a regular family guy. But then because the lady actually have a crush on him, and then he married him, and then open a company for him to run a company, kind of like become a boss. But every day what he did is go back to the office, gamble, and then just leave the office. That is how he run a business. That is what I heard from a DD driver. Like
there we go.
He mentioned that DD driver. He mentioned that family was so rich. They have about how many billion of actors, at least 1 billion of actors. I'm talking about RMB.
That's a really good point. I was thinking about this earlier today, is that there's such a huge discrepancy between the upper class and the lower class. China has a gigantic middle class, but it's enormous. There's people at the top with so much money, and there's a lot of them. And there's a giant population, 500-600 million people who are still considered poor. I mean, you have the middle class, which is really large, but people forget how big this country really is. So that's got to be a factor in this as well.
Yeah. And those super rich people can basically do what they want.
Yeah.
You can't really call it middle class and upper class here, because all of these classes, like, it's not middle class in the sense we have it in England, where maybe classes are based on kind of your education level. Here it's based on how much money you earn.
Yeah.
So
that's the way it is in America too, by the way. It's all about the amount of income that you have.
Yeah. So in those
I like this here.
Classes, they can do what they want.
Someone who takes artistic photos, he used to show post pictures on WeChat. He is now moving his art to Instagram. Wife keeps on telling me to block his art. Yeah. So, I wonder. I see that sometimes on WeChat, and I kind of wonder how they get away with that.
Yeah.
I see that a lot.
I don't think they get away with it. They're not going to get away with it.
I don't know. There's a lady here in Shanghai that has a pet adoption company, but she's always posting these kind of pictures of her holding a cat, like in her underwear, or holding a dog. This dog is we need to adopt this dog, and she's not wearing a whole lot. So I was wondering about that.
Speaking of Shanghai, did you read about those girls that were like living the high life on WeChat? And there was an expose. Someone like infiltrated their WeChat group, and they were like social media influencers, and they were like staying in 5-star hotels and driving Lamborghinis and everything, and they were living this. But it was all fake. It was they were sharing this with like 70 other girls, right?
So this is a training group, This is training camp.
A training camp to try to find a rich husband or boyfriend, right? But that was one aspect of it. But it wasn't just that. It was literally just, look at me. I'm sitting at the Four Seasons for the weekend.
Yeah.
And you take 5 minutes. You take the picture. Next girl comes in, takes the same photo. Next girl comes in, takes the same photo. Right. And then they share the cost of the suite for the weekend.
So, hey, looks like Patrick Freeman is in the house. Greetings from Shanghai. Hey, man.
All right.
Long time no see. So definitely. But yeah, we see that sort of thing a lot though. When I was in Dongguan, there was someone who was talking about teaching a middle-aged lady. There was a teacher that she always wanted me to give her extra lessons on English. And
I hear there's good chicken in Dongguan.
No, there's wonderful chicken. Double entendre. So yeah, there was, but she'd always want me to go over there, and then she'd ask me all these inappropriate questions all the time. She's like,
such as,
such as, come on, Bunny wants to know.
She'd ask me like, do Western women wear their underwear outside or inside their pantyhose? And I'm like,
what?
Is this for men?
I don't know.
Inside, right?
Yeah, definitely. But and she's like, do you think you can help me pick? Nope, sorry. Just here for the English, lady. I'm just here for the English.
I'm just.
But then she's like, well, can I pay you like 50 RMB for 2 hours? And I'm like,
wow, that's cheap.
So cheap.
Yes, I guess.
Can you next time advise her to do a market research on the price first?
Yeah. I can check the price. Well, I guess in the prices are a little bit lower. I think some high grade Snarky can rate a little higher rate in Shanghai, right? So there we go. Well, guys, we are just about out of time. I think we've successfully gotten off topic more times than not tonight.
Yeah.
Yay. So I want to give everyone a chance to tell me what videos you got coming out in the near future. Hello. Someone decided to join us on camera here. So, hi. Do you have any videos coming out? No? So. Anyway, so Rojo, I want to start with you, man. You got what do you have coming down the pike for us in the near future?
I got a lot coming down, man. I just released my part 1 of me climbing Wuganshan, in Jiangxi. So that's part 1. I camped out overnight there. Funny thing, my girlfriend paid for that trip. So
you have a sugar mama. Congratulations. So for those who
watching right now.
For people who don't know, what is that mountain? Tell us a little briefly about that mountain.
It's one of the holy Taoist mountains in China. It's a very famous place. You You can sleep and freeze your butt off at on the top and sleep in the tent. It's fantastic. Go to my channel, watch part 1, and then part 2 will be released later this week. I also have the Shangri-La Hotel review from Guangzhou when I was there. I'm going to be touring a 200-year-old house here in Zhongshan. A walkabout. I got a new gym. I'm going to do the new studio. I got it all on whiteboard right here. So you got Michael from Expat Survival. We're going to do it, man. I've been promising him a live stream together. Me and him, we're going to be talking about leadership. I studied leadership in business schools. My master's degree is in that. And of course, he's a former troop. So we've got a lot of stuff to discuss about that topic. That's going to be great. Lesson plannings. And I'm going to do one with Jayo Nation. He's doing one about world peace and trail running in China. So that's coming out on my channel soon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Burbex, what's coming down the pike, man?
If you go to my channel at 9:15 in about 18 minutes time, you can see a premiere of an exploration of a huge abandoned luxury hotel, which I explored. There was a swimming pool inside.
It's an arcade, right? Yeah, I saw that.
Ballroom, all of these different kinds of places. Is very, very spooky in that one. So
nice.
That's a good one. But next week is even better. It's going to be a gigantic exploration next week. Last week, I went to Anhui, and in Anhui, we explored the biggest amusement park in Asia. Well, it would have been, but it failed because of corruption charges about just a month before it was supposed to open. And this place is gigantic. I've never been to an amusement park this big before, and it's all completely abandoned. It's been abandoned for 8 years. So that's going to go live next week. I just want to give a shout out to some of the viewers as well. So we got Shenzhou, we got Blackjack, Expat Survival, Nicholas. Nicholas is awesome. He always leaves really positive comments.
Oh, yeah, he's always coming on my Facebook. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, Bowen Lee, Patrick, what did I say? Freeman? Patrick Freeman, and of course, Caliber Wins. Head over to my channel right now. There is another guy who is live streaming who shall remain nameless because he was a little bit sensitive when I said that his channel was boring. Head over to my channel right now. You all know who I'm talking about. I hope. So head over to my channel right now. It will be going live in 17 minutes.
There we go.
Very cool.
There we go. So, Bunny, for those who don't know, where are you and what are you doing right now?
I'm doing the home quarantine, my third quarantine in 2020. I'm now in Hong Kong.
She's back in Hong Kong.
Do you have to quarantine again?
Yeah, I have to. Whenever you come back to cross the border, when you come back to Hong Kong, you have to do quarantine. Except Rojo, because as long as you actually are from Guangdong, you don't have to do quarantine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she said they put another GPS bracelet on her. So.
Yes, I'm not going to show you now.
But you took it off. So.
I didn't take it off.
So how long? Wait, I gotta ask, Bunny. How many total weeks? Because you've been in quarantine a lot this year. How many total weeks have you spent in quarantine this year?
Total weeks is actually 4. This is now I entered the 5th one.
5th week. So you spent, and you'll be 6 weeks total when it's all done.
Not really. When I'm back to Shanghai, it will be another 2 weeks. So total will be 8 weeks.
So that's terrible. Well, hope you're binge watching a lot of TV shows.
No, just I guess it's more like in Hong Kong. I'm still doing it at home. It's more flexible. In Shanghai, you will stay in the hotel room, so someone feeds you like a pet. Like morning to breakfast, afternoon the dinner. So someone will actually put a lunchbox on the entrance. I mean, outside the door. Yeah, you just have to on time to eat it. That's all.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, as far as me, I've been releasing kind of a weird series. I have some old video from Guam from back when I had to go take care of some unnecessary legalities.
Driving it into the ocean.
Yeah,
driving your car into the ocean.
Literally drove a car.
You set up your camera and you drove your rental car into the ocean.
That was
so awesome.
It was the worst rental on Guam. I got this thing. It was literally on 4 of those little donut tires. It was the gauges didn't work, the windows didn't roll up. It was the worst car. And I'm thinking, what's the worst that happens? I call it a tow truck. They pull it out and give me another rental, a better rental. So I'm like, why not? So I did it. So
that's funny.
But yeah, so I'm kind of, going back and forth between Shanghai and Guam. And as I'm talking about, basically how to get divorced. If you're a foreigner and you want to know how to get divorced in China, hey, no, it's it could be useful. And so I had to go through a lot of different hoops to do it. And I'm, glad I did. And it was not an easy trip. So I'm kind of continuing that series. It should be interesting. But I want to thank all of my guests for coming to the Snark Lounge. I want to thank everyone for viewing. Please mash that like button. It really helps us out. And of course, stay tuned. Burbex's premiere is coming up in just a few minutes. Pop over to his channel. The link is in the description of this video. Guys, I appreciate you watching. As always carry a can of sardines. You never know when they may come in handy. And we'll catch you guys next week right here on the Snark Lounge.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Take it easy. Bye-bye, guys. And we're clear.
Clear.
Fun.
We really got off topic, didn't we?
I've got to run. I'm dying for a piss.
All right, man.